From the frozen tundras of the northern frontier to Brazil's sprawling wetlands, the world's largest countries unleash landscapes that defy imagination. Explore Russia's vast territory, Peru's dramatic coast geography, the US's iconic geographic landmarks, and more. What makes these giants truly massive? What if China's northern border wasn't a wall, but a 1.3 million square kilometers desert swallowing cities whole? The Gobi expands by 1,000 square kilometers every year, equivalent to 1,500 football fields vanishing daily into shifting sands. Dust storms born here travel 5,000 kilometers, turning Beijing's skies apocalyptic red within 24 hours. 80% of China's deadly sandstorms originate in this desert, impacting 300 million people every single year. This is no ordinary wasteland, it's so vast it could swallow France, Germany, and Spain 3 times over. And scientists still can't explain why it keeps growing. Did you know a wetland holds enough water to fill 1.5 million Olympic-sized swimming pools? That's more than 1.3 billion liters. Spanning 140,000 square kilometers, this South American giant covers more area than the UK and Germany combined, and swells threefold during rainy seasons. Seasonal floods store 12,000 cubic kilometers of water, enough to replace Lake Erie's volume 10,000 times. That's Earth's equivalent of 500 trillion glasses of water. Home to 1,000 jaguars, 5% of the global population, these apex predators rule an ecosystem more productive than the Amazon itself. But here's what makes it unique: the world's only hyacinth macaws nest in tree cavities submerged underwater, an evolutionary marvel scientists still study. This living reservoir regulates South America's climate, yet 90% of its wildlife exists nowhere else on Earth. What other secrets does it hide? Did you know a single river shapes 20% of Canada's landmass? The Mackenzie isn't just long, it's a titan. At 1,730 kilometers, it outstretches the Rhine, Danube, and Pa combined. Its drainage basin spans 1.8 million square kilometers, an area bigger than Greenland itself. From dense boreal forests to Arctic tundra, this river threads through 5 ecosystems in its journey north. In winter, its delta freezes into a 120 kilometers ice bridge, the Arctic's largest, used for centuries by caribou and Inuit. A geological leviathan, yet most of us have never seen its name in the wild. What if a river's mouth was bigger than 25 million football fields? This is the Lena River Delta, 180,000 square kilometers of Arctic wilderness, Earth's largest river delta by area. The Lena River dumps 5,500 cubic meters of water every second into the Laptev Sea, enough to fill 20 Olympic pools per minute. Summer turns this frozen giant into a bird paradise. Over 1,000 species migrate here to nest in the untouched wetlands. Yet only 500 people live here, more reindeer roam this delta than humans. A true Arctic frontier. What if I told you 150 million tons of mud reshape coastlines every year? The Mississippi Delta has created over 4,000 square miles of land since 3000 BCE. That's more than 10 times the size of Washington, D.C. Every day, the river dumps 40 million pounds of sediment into the Gulf of Mexico, enough to fill 800 dump trucks. These wetlands act as a giant shield, protecting 12 million people from hurricane surges and storm damage. Here's the mind-blowing part: the river's mouth has moved 40 miles in just 150 years, literally rewriting the coastline. This ancient river isn't just flowing, it's building a continent, one grain of sand at a time. Did you know 209,000 cubic meters of water surge every second between Brazil and Peru? That's enough to fill 87 Olympic pools every minute. The Amazon River forms 45% of the Brazil-Peru border across 1,360 kilometers, a natural boundary wider than the Amazon River in some sections. In some stretches, the river swells to 10 kilometers wide, enough to swallow 50 NFL fields side by side. This border river discharges 1/5 of all global freshwater, more than the next 7 largest rivers combined. Yet it's just a quiet divider between two giants. How many borders hide this kind of raw power? Did you know a 1,200-mile-long invisible line controls half of the U.S.? The Great Plains span 1.5 million square miles, larger than Argentina, shaped by the 100th meridian boundary. This line divides humid east from arid west, controlling 70% of U.S. agriculture, wheat fields on one side, deserts on the other. West of the line in Kansas and South Dakota? A 30% rainfall drop creates a climate border you can feel in your bones. In the 1930s Dust Bowl, this border became a line of death. Wheat fields turned to choking dust overnight. Today, this invisible line still decides where corn grows and where it withers. What other secrets hide in plain sight? What if Earth's most powerful river could fill 30 Olympic pools every single minute? The Amazon discharges 209,000 cubic meters of water every second, 5 times more than the Congo River, Earth's second largest. Its freshwater plume stretches 300 miles into the Atlantic, diluting ocean salinity and creating a vast ecological boundary. Over 1,100 tributaries feed this system, forming the planet's largest drainage basin, 7 million square kilometers of raw power. But here's the mind-bender. During high tide, Atlantic sea water flows upstream 120 miles, a river defying gravity itself. This isn't just a river, it's a geological force rewriting the rules of nature. What if 1/3 of Australia was so empty, you'd drive 1,500 kilometers without seeing a single road? The outback spans 1.9 million square kilometers, 2/3 of Australia, yet holds just 0.1 people per square kilometer. Perth to Sydney is 3,000 kilometers, 500 kilometers farther than New York to Moscow. Some outback soils are 3.8 billion years old, older than Earth's oxygen atmosphere. A landscape where time moves slower than any clock on Earth. What if the world's largest countries were only 82 kilometers apart? The Bering Strait holds this mind-bending secret. The Diomede Islands sit just 4 kilometers apart, one in Russia, one in the US, yet you'd need a time machine to meet face to face. Beneath the waves, the strait is shockingly shallow, only 50 meters deep, barely deeper than a football field. The International Dateline slices through this narrow waterway, creating a 21-hour time gap between the islands. Stand on Little Diomede in the US, look 4 kilometers east, and Russia's Big Diomede is technically 21 hours later in time. 2 continents, 2 countries, 1 ocean, and time itself plays tricks on this tiny bridge between giants. What other secrets hide in the world's most invisible borders? What if Brazil's entire rainforest vanished? This hidden giant would still cover 2 million square kilometers, and you've probably never heard of it. The Cerrado spans 2.2 million square kilometers, larger than Texas, Alaska, and Western Europe combined. Yet most people only think of the Amazon when they imagine Brazil. It holds 10% of Earth's biodiversity, including 4,500 plant species found nowhere else. Some glow bioluminescent in the dark. This savanna produces 60% of Brazil's soybeans and 70% of its beef, feeding the world from a landscape shaped by fire, not rain. But here's the mind-blower, its poor soil stores 30x more carbon underground than Amazon trees, a secret weapon against climate change. A savanna bigger than Western Europe, feeding the planet while hiding a carbon superpower. What else is hiding in plain sight? What if the world's largest inland sea was surrounded by 5 countries in just 700 kilometers? At 143,200 square kilometers, it's larger than Texas or France, but what makes it truly unique is who shares it. Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Azerbaijan all claim parts of its 7,000 kilometers coastline. The Volga River alone pours 80% of its freshwater into the sea every year, more than any other river. Here's the twist: you'd need 4 passports to swim from one shore to another. It's the only sea where that's impossible. How would you even plan a vacation there? What if I told you a mountain range splits 5 countries with just one peak over 18,000 feet? Mount Elbrus reigns supreme at 18,510 feet, taller than Mount Fuji, a snow-capped titan dominating the skyline. Stretching 750 miles, this range forms borders between Russia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, a natural wall of stone. Over 150 glaciers cling to its slopes, storing 12% of the region's freshwater, frozen reservoirs in a warming world. Here, Europe and Asia collide at a single point, where Russia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan's borders meet. One mountain range. 5 nations. A single peak where 2 continents technically share the same square meter. What if 99% of this Arctic archipelago was frozen year-round, yet guarded a secret so extreme, only 2 entry windows exist each year? Franz Josef Land, 191 icy islands stretching 380 kilometers, located 900 kilometers north of Russia's Arctic coast, discovered by Norwegian explorers in 1873. This frozen wilderness remains so remote, it's designated a Russian no-fly zone requiring government permits for landing, even for scientists. Only 2 brief seasons allow entry, summer for research and winter for secret military operations hidden beneath the ice. And here's the twist: despite being Earth's northernmost landmass, no human has ever lived here permanently, yet polar bears still vanish without a trace. What could possibly explain these disappearances in the coldest place on Earth? What if India's heart held a hidden giant twice the size of France? This colossal landmass covers 400,000 square kilometers, 12% of India itself, shaped by volcanic fury 66 million years ago. Beneath its surface lie 500,000 cubic kilometers of solidified lava, enough to bury France under 3 kilometers of rock. The plateau's 1,000-meter drop from west to east creates India's geographic spine, carving monsoon paths across the subcontinent. But here's what scientists still can't fully explain: this giant's shape actually forces summer monsoons to reverse direction, a weather miracle unique to this region. A geological titan shaping both land and sky, and we've only scratched its surface. Did you know the Amazon River redraws 40% of Brazil's northern borders every single year? At 6,400 kilometers long, it outpaces the Nile, and its mouth migrates every 50 years, rewriting coastlines. Every second, it discharges 209,000 cubic meters of water, more than the next 7 largest rivers combined. Annually, it floods 350,000 square kilometers, an area bigger than Italy, transforming landscapes overnight. Twice in recorded history, its mouth completely switched between the Atlantic and a freshwater delta. This isn't just a river, it's a geological time bomb reshaping continents with every flood season. And scientists still can't predict when it might switch again. What if Argentina's western border was carved by a 4,000-year-old ice age? The Andes form a 5,000 kilometers natural barrier between Argentina and Chile, taller than Everest in places. Aconcagua, Argentina's highest peak, rises 6,959 meters, over 2,000 meters higher than Mount Blanc. These peaks block Pacific moisture, creating the 1,000 km-long Atacama Desert, Earth's driest non-polar region. And scientists discovered the Andes are still rising 1 to 2 millimeters annually as tectonic plates collide. What other borders are secretly shaped by forces we barely understand? Did you know 10% of Earth's freshwater lies hidden in Africa? The Congo Basin spans 4 million square kilometers, larger than the entire European Union. It discharges 41,000 cubic meters of water every second, second only to the Amazon. In some places, the river plunges over 220 meters deep, the world's deepest river. But here's what truly defies belief. Its powerful flow creates an underwater waterfall, dropping 85 meters into the ocean. Nature's engineering on a scale we're only beginning to comprehend.